We're finally in book 6, and Tolkien, in his weird, twisted way, takes us back to the Tower of Cirith Ungol after Sam has defeated Shelob, sent Gollum scurrying away, and he has the ring on. He realizes now Frodo's alive, and he goes into Mordor. Okay, this is around 899, 900. He takes the ring off once he gets in. He sees Mount Doom. He looks back. He sees the Tower of Cirith Ungol and all its strength and stuff. And he thinks it's hopeless. And we're told bottom of 900. His thought turned to the ring, but there was no comfort there, only dread and danger. No sooner had he come in sight of Mount Doom, burning far away, than he's aware of a change in his burden. As it drew near the great furnaces where in the deeps of time it had been shaped, the ring's power grew, and it became more fell, untamable, save by some mighty will. Well, Sam obviously doesn't have a mighty will. Or does he? And as he stood there, even though the ring was not on him, but hanging by its chain around his neck, notice, he feels suddenly enlarged, like he's grown from 3 feet to 7 feet, robed in a huge distorted shadow of himself, a vast and ominous threat halted upon the walls of Mordor. He thinks he's got two choices: forbear the ring or claim it for himself. The ring tempted at him, gnawing at his will and reason. Wild fantasies arose in his mind. What does he see? Samwise the Strong, hero of the age, striding with a flaming sword across the darkened land. Well, he does have a sword that kind of at times looks like it is flaming, so, but Samwise the Strong. Armies flocking to his call as he marches to the overthrow of Bad-Dur. He had only to put on the ring and claim it for his own, and that would all be his. What stops him from doing so? His love for Frodo, okay, and his plain hobbit sense. Notice, that is a similar temptation. It's not the same. It's similar to what Frodo experiences in the Barrow-wights' barrow. Frodo's kind of awake. He sees the others. They're kind of wrapped up. He sees the, disembodied arm-hand thing kind of crawling. And part of him thinks, I could get out of here. I could be free. Yeah, it would suck for them, but I'd be free. And it's his love for the others and his thinking of Tom Bombadil that brings him back. We're told, in that hour of trial, it was the love of his master that helped most to hold him firm, but also deep down in him lived still unconquered his plain hobbit sense. Tolkien, colon, because what comes after the colon explains what he means by his plain hobbit sense. He knew in the core of his heart he was not large enough to bear such a burden, even if such visions were not a mere cheat to betray him. Why wasn't he large enough to bear such a burden? Because of what comes in the sentence following. The one small garden of a free gardener was all his need and due. Not a garden swollen to a realm. A little plot of land is all he needs. That's it. Go to England sometime, go to London, and you'll see houses with what they call gardens. We would call them front yards. And some of the front yards are literally the size of this table. Some of them are the size of this table. And you'll see somebody out there with a push mower to mow that. Okay? That's what Sam's getting at. He doesn't want greatness. He doesn't want power. It's that innate sense that... And then he goes on, and anyways, these are all just a trick, etc. So, he overhears a couple of, not dwarves, not elves, thank you, orcs, and he goes off and follows them. And he thinks he's come to a dead end, and so he starts to sing. And he discovers Frodo. I'm skipping a bunch, obviously. What does Frodo say when Sam goes up to him? What does Frodo think of the quest? It's over. They took everything, he says, Sam. Everything. Middle of 9/11. everything I had. Do you understand? Like he's talking down to Sam, like Sam's a moron. Everything. Sam's like, no, well, everything, Mr. Frodo. I've still got, still got your clothes, It hasn't failed yet. Not yet. I took it. You've got it? Frodo says, yeah. Sam says, I've got it. He gives it to him. Okay. Sam's like, maybe I can help you. We could share it. No, we can't. Why? What's happening to Frodo?
He's turning into gold, essentially.
This is precious.
You shouldn't ask it just before drinking water. Yeah, he's pretty much turning into Gollum. Which means what, though?
The ring is winning.
The ring is winning.
His
What?
will is not there.
What did Gandalf say to him? The morning after Gandalf first started telling him about his ring. He says, you mentioned some stuff, and he says, a ring of power looks after itself, and a ring of power will do what to any mortal who tries to possess it for too long. Or, he doesn't use the word consume. It will possess him. Okay? Has Frodo tried to possess the ring? Has Frodo, as he's been walking mile after mile, has he gone, the ring is mine? Has he ever claimed it in that way? No. We're going to see that happen once. Only takes once. Okay? So, Sam helps them get redressed. They get dressed in orc fashion. And they make their way. Okay? They get past the Watchers by Sam crying out, 9:15. Gilthoniel Elbereth, and Frodo then cries out too. Bells ring, and they go into the land of shadows. So they run. We're going to skip a bit. Sam's thirsty. Bottom of 9:17 says, if Shagrat himself was to offer me some water, I'd take. Frodo says, don't say such things. 9:18. Frodo says, I can't wear the mail shirt. It's too heavy in my present state. Notice, it's not his mithril coat, because what's happened to that? That has been taken. Has it been shown to Gandalf yet? No. Okay, that's still a few days in the future. So, Frodo tells Sam, 9:18, look here, Sam, dear lad. Man, I can't talk today. I am tired, weary. Go away, phone. I am tired, weary. I haven't a hope left. Okay, if I haven't a hope, what does that mean? I haven't a hope left. Rephrase that. What does Gandalf call that? Despair. If you have no hope, none at all, then you can despair. Okay, go away. The ring, he says, but I have to go on trying to get to the mountain as long as I can move. The ring is enough. This extra weight is killing me. It must go, but don't think I'm ungrateful. Sam's like, don't worry about it. He says, you take my cloak, etc. He says, all right. He says, I feel much lighter. He said, Sam, as I lay there in prison, I tried to remember the Brandywine woody end, the water. I can't. I can't see them now. Why not? What does he see? The ring. His mind is consumed with the ring. Sam, there now, Mr. Frodo, at the bottom of 9:18. There's you talking about water and such. If only the lady, okay, so he's talking about Galadriel here. If only the lady could see us or hear us, I'd say to her, your ladyship, all we want is light and water. Two things. Give us some light, give us some water. Why light? What happened when they crossed over into Mordor? Dark. Okay? What about water? Is there no water in Mordor? None that you'd want to drink. Okay? They didn't have any going up the Tower of Cirith Ungol or through the stairs. So, they march on. Page 919. They look away to their left, southward. So if south is this way, okay, and it's leftward, which way are they direction? Which?
Left.
Thank you. They're facing west. Man. Okay? So they're facing west. Against a sky that was turning gray, the peaks and high ridges of the Great Range began to appear dark and black, visible shapes. They began to appear. What's happening? Well, whether it's the sun and light is shining. Light is coming through somehow. Because before they couldn't see the shape of the mountains. Why? Because it was just darkness. Now they can see the shape of the mountains. Light was growing behind them. Slowly it crept towards the north. There was battle far above in the high spaces of the air. What? What kind of battle? Are there Mordor flying things fighting with free things of the west flying things? What's the battle? Between the clouds, the storm of Sauron, and the non-clouds, the free air of the world, so to speak? Or is this an element of Tolkien's Catholic belief system just finding its way in? Yeah. He says in his letter, in one of his letters, I've talked about before, the Lord of the Rings is fundamentally a religious and philosophical work, more so in the revising than in the creation. So as he revised, and keep in mind, he started this before he published The Hobbit. Hobbit's published in 37. So he starts this in 36, 35. It's not published until 1954. So he's got about 20 years. As he revises, this stuff kind of consciously works its way in. Well, St. Paul talks about the battle in the high places of the air. Okay? Sam sees the light shining on the mountains. Look at it, Mr. Frodo. Look at it. The wind's changed. Something's happening. He's not having it all his own way. His darkness is breaking up out in the world there. I wish I could see what is going on. And our narrator says, meanwhile, back in Gondor, it was the morning of the 15th of March, and over the Vale of Anduin, the sun was rising above the eastern shadow, and the southwest wind was blowing, and Theoden lay dying on the Pelennor fields. What does the narrator not tell us in that paragraph? Tells us in the following one. As Theoden lay dying, what else happens? The Witch King of Angmar, the captain of the Nine, dies. That's why the light has come. Okay? What did Sam just ask for? Previous page? Light?
Water.
So he's got light. He says, don't you have some hope now, Mr. Frodo? No? Well, okay, not much, Sam. Well, not much is better than none. Okay? He says, anyways, that's away beyond the mountains. That's in Gondor. We're not heading towards Gondor, Sam. Where are we heading? Opposite direction. We're heading into the heart of darkness. Okay? And I begin to see it in my mind all the time, like a great wheel of fire. Sam's quick spirit sank again at once. Sam is buoyed by hope, and Frodo's just there to, boom, blow that balloon, out of the water. 9:20. They keep going on. Light doesn't grow any stronger. And they hear a little tinkling. Bottom of 9:20. If ever I see the lady again, I will tell her, light and now water. Let me drink first. Why? I'm thirstiest. I've done the hardest work. Yeah, it's true.
It's kill over.
He wants to make sure it's not poisoned. Okay? Frodo says, there's enough for... No, you don't understand. He goes, don't worry about it, Sam. We'll trust our luck together. Why? Because Frodo's thinking, we're going to die anyways. Why wait and die when we could just as well drink poisoned water and die now? So they drink. They go on. And we're going to go on and skip several pages. Sam mentions, page 921, Gollum's about. Okay. Frodo keeps saying, we have to trust to luck. Would Elrond call it luck? Or chance? No. He was meant to have the ring, etc. So, go to chapter 3, Mount Doom. We get to the bottom of that page, 933. Sam looks off to the distance. He sees Mount Doom, and he says, it's 50 miles. That'll take a week if it takes a day, with Mr. Frodo as he is. 50 miles in a week. These are hobbits. These aren't people our size. Nice, you know. I've got a fairly long stride. I'm 5'10". He's like 3 feet. Got a little short stride. Okay? Over mountainous terrain. When you're hungry and thirsty and trying to dodge orcs. Okay? So 7 miles a day still. So Sam's sitting there thinking, and we're told, bottom of that page, but the bitter truth came home to him at last. At best, their provision would take them to their goal. And when the task was done, there they would come to an end, alone, houseless, foodless, in the midst of a terrible desert. There could be no return. It finally hit Sam. Oh, okay, so we're going to die. Not off in some long, distant future after I have tons of kids, but here. So that was a job I felt I had to do. Help Mr. Frodo to the last step and then die with him. Well, if that's the job, then I must do it. But I would dearly like to see Bywater again and Rosie Cotton and her brothers and the Gaffer and Marigold, blah, blah, blah. Okay? But even as hope died, what's the hope for? Seeing Rosie, her brothers, etc., even as that hope died, or seemed to die, we're told, it was turned to a new strength. Sam's plain hobbit face grew stern. Plain hobbit face like his plain hobbit common sense. Grim, as if the will hardened in him. What's Sam doing? Not that he's physically doing it. Sam isn't sitting there going...
If we're going to die, we're going to die with fight.
Like Harry, right? Behind the tombstone. He's not going to die cowering. Sam's going to, he's going to get everything he has. Okay? They keep going. One time after they pause, page 937, Frodo says, it's such a weight, Sam. It's such a weight to carry. I can't manage it. Sam goes, well, I'll carry it for you. Stay away, don't touch me. It's mine. I'm here. Too late now, Sam dear. You can't help me in that way again. I am almost in its power now. Okay? That tells us what? I'm almost in. Not yet totally. But eventually, Frodo still has a little bit of will. Okay? I could not give it up. If you tried to take it, I should go mad. This is like 15, 20 pages before the ring is destroyed. And what has Frodo just told us?
Oops.
I'm not going to do it. I couldn't give it up, he says. And if you took it from me, I'd go crazy. Meaning, I'd probably try to kill you. Yes, even you, Sam. Sam nods, I understand. But we can still lighten the load, so, lightens the load. They keep going. Let's see. Bottom of 940. Sam tells Frodo, come, Mr. Frodo, I can't carry it for you. I'm not going there. But I can carry you in it as well. So what is he thinking when he makes that offer? What did Sam experience when he carried the ring? Especially when he crossed into Mordor briefly. It was like, it suddenly became heavy. So he's thinking he's going to be carrying Frodo and the ring. How much does Frodo weigh? I don't mean that literally. I mean just, let me back up. How did he weigh at the beginning of the novel? He was fat and plump. Now, he's been on a Marines diet through basic training. I mean, he's gotten ripped. Thin, okay? Thin, emaciated. Okay. Not a Marines diet, a Gulag survivor's diet, a concentration camp survivor's diet. So Sam's thinking, okay, so but he still weighs something, but he's got the ring. It's going to be hard. So Sam kind of, psychs him, and Frodo gets on his back. He's like, well, this is light as a feather. This isn't any problem. I should have been doing this a long time ago. Okay. So Sam asks, middle of 941, how far? I don't know, Sam. I don't know where we're going. It's like, you don't have a map? So he turns around and he looks from where they came. And he's amazed to see how far they'd come. Frodo gets off his back. He says, I'll crawl. And they get jumped by Gollum. Middle of 943. A sudden weight smote him. He crashed forward, tearing the backs of his hands that still clasped his master's. Then he knew what had happened, for above him as he lay, he heard a hated voice. Wicked master, Jesus, Smeagol, no. You mustn't go that way, but Sir Prince, give it to Smeagol. Yes, give it to Smeagol, give it to us. Why? What did he make Gollum swear? Gollum offered to swear on the precious, but to do what? To serve the master of the precious. Okay? Sam rises up, has his sword out. He's getting ready to... But he can't stab Gollum because Gollum and Frodo are locked together. Gollum's sitting here. And Sam sees a wild light flame in Frodo's eyes. But his malice was no longer matched by his old gripping strength. In Gollum's eyes. Frodo flung him off and rose up. It says, down, down. And he's clutching the ring like this. So that beneath the cover of his leather shirt, he clasped the ring. Down, you creeping thing, out of my path. Your time is at an end. You cannot betray me or slay me now. Okay? Notice. Sam sees Frodo say that. Now look at the next paragraph. Then suddenly, as before under the eaves of the Emimule, Sam saw these two rivals with other vision. What's the other vision? Like he suddenly remembered he had glasses and put them on. He's seeing them kind of as Frodo sees Glorfindel as he exists on the other side. So what's the other side? A crouching shape, scarcely more than the shadow of a living thing. He's seeing Gollum as he really is, without the power of the ring. Gollum is barely alive. Go ahead, I'm listening. Shut up. A creature now wholly ruined and defeated, yet filled with a hideous lust and rage. And before it stood stern, untouchable now by pity. Why? Why can Frodo not be touched by pity? Come on. What's happened to the ring? The ring has possessed him. The ring doesn't allow for pity. Why not? Where'd the ring come from? Sauron. Sauron has no pity. Sauron is totally evil. He's not inherently, that is, not at his creation, but he has made himself. He has given himself entirely over to evil. Frodo is now under the power of the ring. So when Frodo speaks, we're going to hear, is it Frodo speaking or is it the ring using Frodo's voice? Look at the description. Before it stood stern, untouchable now by pity, a figure robed in white. Is Frodo literally robed in white? No. So why does Sam see him robed in white? What does robed in white usually suggest? Purity? angelic. In the Christian tradition, you get baptized. In some Christian traditions, you get baptized, you put on white robes. Why? Because the book of Revelation talks about white robes for those who overcome, etc. Okay? But at its breast it held a wheel of fire. And out of the fire there spoke a commanding voice. Notice, the voice doesn't come out of Frodo's mouth. It comes out of this burning thing here. Begone and trouble me no more. Is that Frodo speaking, or is that the ring speaking? If you touch me ever again, you shall be cast yourself into the fire of doom. Frodo speaking, ring speaking. Is this prophecy? Is this coming from somewhere else, like the prophecy about Harry and Voldemort? You know, where do those prophecies come from? We're never told in J.K. Rowling's universe. I mean, they come through people, like Sybil Trelawney. Where they come from behind Sybil Trelawney, no idea. Okay? The crouching shape backed away, terror in its blinking eyes. Why? When Gollum hears this, do you think Gollum sees Frodo the way Sam sees Frodo? Because we're not told that Gollum does. We're told this is Sam's vision. And Gollum backs away. What has he just heard? Touch me again. Okay. Me. Problem with the pronoun me is what? Who does it refer to? Does it refer to Frodo? Does it refer to the ring? Or are Frodo and the ring now one and the same? If the ring possesses Frodo, then Frodo's merely an extension of the ring. Crouching shape backs away, yet it still has an insatiable desire. Vision past. Sam says, look out, Mr. Frodo. Go on. I'll take care of him. Notice, Frodo's without pity. Sam? What does Sam think about himself right now? Before anything else that happens subsequently. You dirty, stinking little spider-like creature, I'm going to stomp on you like a bug. That's why he pulls out his sword. He's getting ready to kill him. Now I can deal with you. Don't kill us. Gollum weeps, we're told. Don't hurt us with nasty, cruel steel. Let us live, yes, live. Just a little longer. What's Gollum know is going to happen. Yeah, lost, we're lost. And when precious ghosts will die, yes, die into the dust. As he claws up the ashes, kind of like from dust thou art, and to dust thou wilt return. And Sam's hand wavers. Why? Why didn't he just lop his head off? Why? Why does he have pity?
Essentially, I think he sees the comparison between what Frodo was to what he is now, and can relate that to Gollum.
Okay.
Could also partially be because Sam knows that they're also about to die, so living just a little bit longer. I mean, it's just
Could be. I mean, what did Frodo already say? Sam, we're not going to make it. And Sam's already resigned himself to we're going to die. So, okay, maybe I'll let him live a few minutes longer. Could be. What else?
He just sees how tortured Gollum is by the ring.
Keep going.
How much an effect it's had on his life.
Keep going.
well, the vision he had. Once the rings destroyed, he saw that Gollum was just like a shadow of himself, barely alive, and was only held alive by the power of the ring. So once the ring's destroyed,
How's the ring going to be destroyed? Frodo's already told Sam, I can't give it up. So he's going to march off. He's going to find the Samwith Naur and go, oh, look, it won't go.
And Sam's going to kick Frodo in. And then
Yeah, Sam's going to go, sorry, master.
going after him.
Good master.
Mount Doom.
Yeah. I'm going to live. You're going to die, but, sign up. How about because Sam identifies with Gollum? Sam knows what Gollum has gone through. Why? Because Sam went through it for how long? A few hours? No, it's longer than that. It's a few hours. Sam had the ring for hours. Gollum had the ring for hundreds of years. Sam remembers standing there at the entrance to Mordor and that temptation. And he could just kind of, what must it be like? His mind was hot with wrath and the memory of evil. It would be just to slay this treacherous, murderous creature. Just, and many times deserved. Now, at any rate, he is as bad as an orc and just an enemy. He deserves death. Deserves it? I dare say he does. Many that live deserve death. Some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them? For good or ill, Gollum's fate is bound up with the fate of the ring. Of course, Sam was outside clipping the hedges at that point. Or was he? Yes, he was outside, but was he clipping or was he listening at that point? It would be just and many times deserved, and it seemed the only safe thing to do. But deep in his heart, there was something that restrained him. He could not strike this thing lying in the dust, forlorn, ruinous, utterly wretched. Why not? Because it wouldn't be merciful? I mean, one way of looking at Gollum is he is in extreme pain and suffering. Why not end it? Euthanasia. The good death. The mercy killing. Because Tolkien wouldn't have supported it. That's why he doesn't do that. He himself, though only for a little while, had borne the ring, and now dimly he guessed the agony of Gollum's, notice, shriveled mind. How much of a mind does Gollum have left? How much of Smeagol is still there? We're lost. We'll die. You know, before that scene in the Tower of Cirith Ungol, when Gollum reaches out and touches Frodo, and we're told, you know, if an observer could have seen that, he would have seen 3 tired hobbits, 1 extremely weary, etc. Okay? Before then, what has Gollum been calling himself? After he's tamed Smeagol. And every now and then he uses I. And when he uses I, that tells us the entity that once was, the artist formerly known as, Smeagol, is still there. Now, gone. Now it's back to the we. The agony of Gollum's shriveled mind and body, enslaved to that ring, unable to find peace or relief ever in life again. Why does Tolkien include the in life again? Why not just end the sentence? Unable to find peace or relief ever. I think that's why. I think Tolkien is suggesting maybe Gollum finds peace and relief in death. Not in death and he just disappears, but he gets something else. But Sam had no, notice, the narrator says, but Sam didn't think all this in words. This is just his experience of what's going on. Oh, curse you, you stinking thing, go away, be off. I don't trust you as far as I can. So Gollum creeps away. Sam goes on. He sees Frodo. He makes his way up. He sees the entry into Orodruin. And there's Frodo. And he speaks with a clear voice. A voice he hasn't spoken with in quite a while. I have come, but I do not choose now to do what I came to do. I will not do this deed. It's kind of making clear what he said in the previous long sentence. The ring is mine. This is what you can't do. If you say the ring is mine, that is, you are claiming all power, all ownership, etc. Okay? And suddenly he puts it on his finger and disappears. What does that mean? The ring is mine. What's he essentially saying to that lidless eye a few hundred leagues north? He's giving him the bird, man. He's flipping him off. He's going, oh yeah, Sauron, come and get it. Oh yeah, Sauron, come and get it. You know, the munchkin. Sam gets knocked over. He lays still for a moment, passes out, and we're told, meanwhile, back in Barad-dûr, the power in Barad-dûr was shaken, and the tower trembled from its foundations to its proud and I don't think that's supposed to be metaphorical language. I think that means there was an earthquake, and a big one. And Sauron, who's been focusing his eye north and west to the forces of Gondor, suddenly goes, oh, and turns the other direction. As he realizes, what? The Dark Lord was suddenly aware of him, and his eye, piercing all shadows, looked across the plain to the door that he had made, and the magnitude of his own folly was revealed. That's the answer to the quiz question. Oh, what a fool I am. That damned Gandalf. He pulled a fast one on me. Because what did Sauron assume anybody who found the ring would do? What Frodo just did. Is that what Boromir would have done? In a heartbeat. Faramir says, well, no, we men of Gondor, no, we wouldn't do that. Well, Faramir might not, but Boromir would have, Denethor would have. Sauron thinks there's a whole bunch of people who could wield this thing, not least of which is Gandalf. There's also that guy who showed himself in the Palantir. Yeah, with the sword that cut my finger off. From all his policies and webs of fear and treachery, from all his stratagems and wars, his mind shook free, like a dog shaking itself after a bath. He's got to break all those connections, which does what then to all of his fighting forces? Kind of like the droids in the one Star Wars. They just all go limp. His armies quail and halt. His captains are suddenly steerless, bereft of will, wavered, and despaired, for they were forgotten. Why? Because he has 8 non-school left, and he's like, turns on the sirens, and they start hightailing it. Sam gets up. Notice, has the ring been destroyed yet? No. Sam gets up, blood streaming from his head, and what does he see? He sees Gollum dancing with an invisible partner. And then suddenly, he sees a finger with a ring on it. Kind of interesting. Why doesn't the finger stay invisible? Okay. Anyways, and there's Frodo. Precious, 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 my precious. Oh, my precious. What does the idiot do in the film? Peter Jackson being the idiot.
He holds up the ring while he's in the lava. You're talking about the last seconds of
Well, just before then, doesn't the ring fall in the lava?
Mm-hmm.
And then what? Doesn't Frodo try to get it?
No, Frodo and
Sam are up
Gollum
on the.
tumble off the cliff,
Yeah.
and so then
Catches
Frodo's barely
himself.
hanging on
And
with his
Sam
like
has to pick him up.
missing
And
finger.
Sam grabs him, but I mean, Gollum does go in and he's holding up the ring while he's being consumed in
Last.
lava.
Okay, because I thought Frodo was still reaching, that Sam's reaching for Gollum, Sam's reaching for Frodo, and Frodo's kind of reaching for the ring. Not?
No, he's holding on by one hand and one hand's hanging down.
And what's he doing with the hand that's hanging down? Nothing?
Getting his
The
finger
way
cut off.
above.
Well, okay. Bleeding.
Yeah.
Black Knight, Monty
Because-
Python, you know.
Because in the movie he can't reach it because it's like a good 20-foot fall
Yeah.
to the lava from where
Okay, here's my point. He can't reach it. But and I'll be the first to admit, my memory can be completely shot. Doesn't he reach for it?
he's looking
My interpretation was that Sam and Frodo
Okay,
are like,
maybe, okay.
he's looking at Gollum.
Okay, that's fine. So, Gollum, and Terminator disappears. Frodo, 947. Well, this is the end, Sam. What does he mean? Yeah, this is the end. We're going to die here, Sam. Why? Because the mountain starts to, and Sam's like, oh, your poor hand. But you remember Gandalf's words, even Gollum may have something yet to do, but for him, Sam, I could not have destroyed the ring. Here's where I wonder if Tolkien had taken a third shot at revision, because this is the second revised edition, if he would have changed that. Did Frodo destroy the ring? No. No. When it really came down to it, what did Frodo do? Failed spectacularly. Why? Because that's what we were told at the very beginning would happen. It was inevitable that Frodo would fail. Because a mortal, Frodo, that tries to possess the ring, he claimed it for his own, will be possessed by it. Okay? The quest would have been in vain, but for him, even at the bitter end. So let us forgive him. That is, everything he's done, gone. Quest is achieved, all is over. Now that we're here together, here at the very end. And Sam's like, well, not quite the end. So the fields of Carmallen, Sauron, shadow rises, reaches out a hand, and it just disappears. And Gandalf says, the quest is fulfilled, the ring's destroyed. He goes to find Frodo and Gollum with Gwaihir the Wind Lord, and Frodo says, page 950, we're going to zip along from here. I'm glad you're here with me, Sam, here at the end of all things. Frodo's like, yeah, me too, but, it doesn't, we don't have to stay literally here as, the lava is starting to rise. We could, maybe go outside. We are lost in ruin and downfall, and there is no escape, says Frodo. Yeah, Frodo just,
Let's just lie.
sit down, smelling the nice sulfur fumes, and Sam, well, let's go down the path at any rate. I mean, we can live a little bit longer.
He still has no hope.
Frodo has no hope. Sam does. Why? Because Sam's thinking, ring's destroyed. Hey, man, there's a little bit of hope. So they go down a ways, and they lie down, and they go to sleep thinking, well, just kind of be like Pompeii. Stuff's going to just come and case us. And that's when Gwaihir, the Wind Lord, finds him. So they get taken off to the field of Carmallen. They rest a while. We have some bad songs by Tolkien, which we're going to skip. The Steward and the King. Chapter Steward and the King, pages 9, 61. Meanwhile, back at the Houses of Healing, okay, Faramir and Éowyn, slowly getting better. Éowyn comes out every now and then, says, I want to ride with the captains of the West, off to, death and honor and glory, etc., etc. Faramir says, page 960, you can't, it's too late. He says, but, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind spending a few hours with you, during the daylight. It would ease my care. And she asked, how should I ease your care? I do not desire the speech of living men. Oh, okay, thanks. But he said, you want my honesty? Yes. I say to you, you are beautiful in the flat valleys of our hills. There are flowers fair and bright, maidens fairer still. Neither flower nor lady have I seen now till in Gondor, so lovely and so sorrowful. And maybe we've only got a few days left, but hey, baby, let's make them count. Okay? It's essentially what he's saying. She goes, no, sorry, not me. Why? Shadow lies on me still. Yeah, I might be among the living, mostly. Look not to me for healing. Notice, she understands what he's saying. You want to feel better by loving me. Not physically feel better. You want your soul kind of healed. Why? I am a shield maiden, and my hand is ungentle. In other words, and you make a move on me, buddy, you're dead. But I thank you for this at least. That you're not going to keep me bound to my chamber. He says, no, you can come out here, walk on the terrace all you want. Because I'm going to come out when you do and walk behind and watch, So, Mary gets sent to Faramir. And in the morning, page 961, Faramir came from the houses. He sees her as she stood upon the walls. And each day he calls to her and they talk. And This happens for several days, and so the 5th day comes. No tidings had yet come. All hearts were darkened. The weather's not bright. Faramir had sent for a robe. He wraps it around her. He thought that she looked fair and queenly indeed. The mantle was wrought for his mother, Finduilas of Amroth, who died untimely, was to him but a memory of loveliness, blah, 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 blah. And she says, isn't that where the Black Gate is? And he says, yes. How long? 7 days since they rode away. And Faramir says, we wait for the stroke of doom, page 962. And they said no more, and it seemed to them as they stood upon the wall that the wind died, the light failed, the sun was bleared, and all sounds in the city, just everything goes silent. It's like time stops. And as they stood so, their hands met and clasped, though they did not know it. And it seemed to them that above the dark the ridges of the distant mountains, another vast mountain of darkness is Sauron. Gets blown away. Faramir reminds me of Numenor. Not because he was there. It reminds him of the tales of Numenor. Numenor, and he tells her, do you think the darkness is coming? He goes, I don't know what it means. I don't know what's happening. Some great evil has befallen. We stand at the end of the world. He says, but I don't think so. Something in me says something else. Okay? Éowyn does not go when her brother calls for her to come to the fields of Kermallen. And Faramir's like, what gives? I mean, you've got freedom now. You can leave. You don't know? Well, there might be 2 reasons. I don't know which one's true. She says, I don't want to play riddles. Speak plainer. Why doesn't he want to speak? Why doesn't he want to give one of the, the 2 reasons? Because one of them, man, he's put all of his eggs in that basket. And he's really hoping it's this one. Well, okay. You don't go because only your brother called for you. And to look on the Lord Aragorn, Elendil's heir, and all those trumps would bring you no joy. You don't go because you don't want to see Aragorn in all his glory. That's reason number 1. What's reason number 2? Because of me? Because you don't want to leave me? I wished to be loved by another, she admits. I don't want any man's pity. It's not pity, honey. You desire to have the love. Everybody kind of knows that. And he says, do not scorn pity that is the gift of a gentle heart, Éowyn. I do not offer you my pity, for you are lady high and valiant, blah, 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 blah. I love you. Once I pitied you, not anymore. Then the heart of Éowyn changed. Notice, instantaneous. It's kind of like what? Great Christmas classic cartoon. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. One of the most profound cartoons ever. Because what happens to the Grinch? Christmas morning, it grows 10 times the size. He goes down to Whoville. He steals everything. He rides up to the top of Mount Crumpet, and he stands there to listen to all the little who's what? Whine and bitch and moan and bellyache about Christmas not coming. And what happens? They all come out and they all singing who carols. Little fahu fahu, etc. And he's like, what the hell, man? What gives? Maybe Christmas doesn't come in a box, blah, 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 blah. And his heart grows 10 times that day. Okay? That's what happens to her. Why? She suddenly realizes she's not complete until she has a man connected to her? No. She says, I stand in Minas Anor, the Tower of the Sun, and behold, the shadow has departed. I will be a shield maiden no longer. I will be a healer. If she's going to be a healer, then what does that make her for others? Keep going. Use another word. Louder? Possibly. Close. What do nurses do?
Serve.
They serve. What did she tell Aragorn? I am no serving woman. Here, she is saying, I will serve others. That's what healers do. That's what doctors do. I know we don't think they do because of their exorbitant fees, etc. They serve others. Okay? She says, I will love all things that grow and are barren. And again, she looked at Faramir and she says, no longer do I desire to be a queen. He's going, hot damn, that's good because I'm not a king. You'll be a stewardess. Not the earthling kind, but you'll be married to the steward. Close. So, those two get hitched. And then we have Aragorn gets crowned and everything. Chapter 6, Many Partings. Page 974. They're getting ready to, spread off to the various places of Middle-earth they go to. And what does Arwen give to Frodo? That's her name. Probably if you put Liv Tyler, I might even accept that.
I would put the female elf.
The female elf, okay.
Married
Got two
Aragorn.
of them.
You're married to Aragorn.
She gives Frodo what?
Her spot on the boat.
Her spot on the boat. Her ticket.
Yeah.
I knew her name.
Couldn't remember her name.
Why? Arwen. Arwen
Her name
Evenstar.
was something else.
Okay?
Elrond's daughter, right?
Elrond's daughter. She says, for mine is the choice of Luthien. What did Luthien do? Aragorn told them the tale of Beren and Luthien at Weathertop. She gives up her immortality. She gives up her half-elven side. Okay, bear in mind, her other half is supernatural, godlike being side. She chooses humanity, which she isn't born with at all. So she chooses to become human. Arwen chooses her human side, which means there will come a day long in the future she will die. Really long, because
She's still gonna outlive.
she's got elf genes, and it's going to take a while for them to fray and everything. Okay, she's going to outlive Aragorn by many, many, many years. Okay, but the important part is she will never be reunited with her father in death in the halls of Mandos. She'll die, and she'll receive what Tolkien calls in the Silmarillion the gift of men. Real death, not reincarnation. See, elves can be reincarnated back into Middle Earth. Men, and women, completely die and go somewhere else that the elves don't know. And Tolkien, in one of the stories that becomes part of the 12-volume history of Middle Earth, gives a little inclination of what that is. And it is the Christian story entirely. He says, they're going to be redeemed because one's going to come among them and take upon their sins and blah, 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 blah. And he has this told by an old elf, etc. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's what we hear at least. That's the story they, meaning humans, say. Okay? So, where do Legolas and Gimli, Legolas and Gimli go?
They go to Far Gone Forest.
Okay? Fangorn.
Sorry. Yeah.
They're going to go two places.
And the-
Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Gimli, rocks, man. They're just totally cool.
Right.
Legolas is like, well, okay, but they're dead. And then they're going to go to Fangorn. But you got to put your axe away. No cutting these trees. Okay? So those two split off. They go to Orthanc. Why? And who's still there, by the way? With the party that's traveling. Aragorn and Arwen and Galadriel, and they're all there. Okay? What's the purpose of going to Orthanc? Hi, Saruman. My name's Aragorn. I'm the new king. Live on the... I'm in control now. What's the real purpose? What does Gandalf offer Saruman? Or what was he going to offer Saruman? Not quite. Second chance, but he can't. Why? Why? Why did he let him go? He doesn't like to cage things. And caging Saruman was wrong. So Gandalf says, yeah, you're kind of gullible, Treebeard. He still had the power of his voice. So they run into Saruman pages 982, 83. And Gandalf asks him, where are you going? What is that to you? You going to order my going? He goes, no, I never have ordered your goings. I won't be. If you'd waited at Orthanc, you would have seen him, that is the king, and he would have shown you wisdom and mercy. Then all the more reason to have left sooner. He says, if you want an answer, I'm seeking a way out of his realm. Gandalf, then once more, you're going the wrong way. What does Tolkien mean? If Saruman is going the wrong way to find the way out of his kingdom, what one word, 2 syllables, must he do? One word, 2 syllables, Christian connotation, Christian context. Because it means exactly what he must do. If he's going the wrong way, well, he's got to do what? So one word, 2 syllables, it means the same thing. Repent. That's what Gandalf's trying to get him to see. You got to turn around, Saruman. You're going the wrong way. You're not going to get what you're looking for going the direction you're going. Is this the last time he offers him this kind of opportunity? Nope. So Galadriel speaks to him, etc. Saruman says, if only I had some pipeweed. But you little midget, you stole it from me. Frodo, I would give you some if I had any. Merry, you can have what I've got left. So Merry pulls out his pipeweed and gives it to Saruman. What does Saruman think? Well, you're merely giving me what is mine to begin with. Is it? Did he buy it from the Shire? We're not told. Okay? So, Gandalf says, bottom of 984, I fear nothing more can be made of him. He is withered altogether. I fancy he can still do some mischief. So Saruman goes his way, the rest go their way. 985. At length all was said, they parted again for a while until it was time for the 3 rings to pass away. So the people of Lorien go off to Lorien. And 988, they make their way, they being Gandalf, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin. Notice, return journey kind of what? Mimics the outward journey. It's the envelope kind of structure. They go to the Prancing Pony. They meet Bartleman Butterbur. He's surprised to find out the Strider is the king, etc. And what does Gandalf say? Because Merry says, when Bartleman says, there's problems in the Shire, Merry's like, well, that's fine. Gandalf will take care of it. Gandalf says, actually, it's not 988. It is 996. Merry says, we've got you with us. Soon things will be cleared up. I'm with you at present, but I'm not coming to the Shire. You must settle its affairs yourselves. This is what you have been trained for. By saying this is what you've been trained for, what does Gandalf almost seem to be implying? Okay.
The Shire is not going to be the Shire.
Okay.
Like that was it's almost like what happened in the Shire was the end goal.
Yes, but turn that around a little bit.
If he's saying that's what they've been trained for, they've been a part of the fellowship, so that maybe that's the reason they were part of it.
Everything that has occurred to all 4 of them.
The age of men, the 4th age of men.
Well, that's coming, but they're not men, so it's not going to be their age. They're going to disappear like the elves do. But what they've been trained, everything since Frodo realized the ring was the ring, Gandalf seems to be implying, has been training them for this. How can that be? You can only take that attitude if you have a particular perspective. Not a linear perspective. Not, oh, look, it's midsummer and Gandalf hasn't returned. Oh, golly gee, what should I do? And then Frodo waits 2 more months before he and Sam leave. what perspective do you have to have? You've got to have a bird's eye view. Okay? Because from up here, what can you see? You can see this, you can see this. You can see the beginning, you can see the end. You have to have maybe the perspective of the you were meant to find the ring, Bilbo. This perspective that says, what? All of this stuff down here, the nitty-gritty of life, has a purpose to it. Can't see it down here in the nitty-gritty of life. But I think some would say, there is a reason. Oh, what's the guy's first name? James, I think. There is a reason why James Shaw went to that Waffle House in Antioch after going to a previous Waffle House and it being packed the other morning. What was the reason? So that he had ripped an AR-15 out of a guy's hands, throw it behind a counter, and kick the guy out of the restaurant. The reason is so that more people wouldn't die. Did some? Yeah, some did, unfortunately. Okay? Down here, we can't see that. Why? Because it just looks like life's a crapshoot. It's a pinball machine. Just keep that ball going, because when the ball stops, then you die. But up here, when you're outside the pinball machine, you can do what? You can make the flappers move. And you can keep things going. Or you can at least see how everything works out. So he says he's going to do what? I'm going to go talk to Tom Bombadil. Going to go talk to Tom Bombadil. He says, and have a long talk with him, such a talk as I have not had in my time. Why? My job's done. We don't have, unfortunately, Gandalfs and Dumbledores around to solve our problems, do we? Nope. We have Frodos and Marys and Sams and Pippins and Harrys and Hermiones and Rons and Nevilles and Lunas, meaning what?
Ordinary. No magic power.
Those who are trained by them.
Those who rise to the occasion. That's it. Those who rise to the occasion. Okay? So, they go to the Shire, and what do they discover? As Cheyenne said, I think it was Cheyenne, it's not what it was when they left. Because when they left, which was only a year ago, everything was fine. Now, everything's torn up. Party tree's been thrown down. Gaffer's been kicked out. What happened to Frodo's beautiful home? Who lives there? Shirky. A.K.A. Saruman and Wormtongue.
And he's killed both.
Yeah, and what happened to Frodo's cousin?
Who was the chief?
Saruman kind of implies Wormtongue ate him. Because he was hungry. It's not cannibalism. Wormtongue's not a hobbit. It's pretty close. He's human-like, but... So, Saruman tries to kill Frodo. And... let's see here. Page 1019. The blade turns on the hidden mailcoat. Sam goes, and Frodo says, "No, Sam, do not kill him even now." Why? 4 reasons. 1, he hasn't hurt me. Okay. 2, I don't wish him to be slain in this evil mood, that is, in revenge and rashly. Why? Because he remembers what Gandalf said back at the beginning. Do not be too eager to deal out death in judgment. 3, he was great once, of a noble kind that we should not dare to raise our hands against. That is, this guy was a wizard. But he was not only a wizard, he was the chief of the wizards. We shouldn't, it's not our place. 4, he's fallen. His cure is beyond us. That is, we can't cure him. But I would spare him in the hope that he would find it. Why? Just as Gandalf hopes that Gollum will find his cure, question, did he? Did he find his cure by succeeding in the quest? Okay? Frodo hopes Saruman can also find his cure. So, Grima Wormtongue kills him, and then they kill Wormtongue. Grey Havens. Sam does marry Rosie Cotton, gets married, other order, same thing, marries Rosie Cotton, has a child, years go by, and then, one day Frodo says, let's go for a ride, Sam, and they go off to the Grey Havens, and what does Sam now realize? Frodo's leaving. Why? Frodo says, to Sam, find the right page, 1029. They see Bilbo. Bilbo's 131 years old, so he's now the oldest hobbit who's ever lived. And Frodo tells Sam he's going to the Havens, and I can't come. No, Sam, not yet anyway, not further than the Havens. You two were a ring bearer, if only for a little while. Your time may come. Does that mean Gollum's time may come, even though he's dead? See, Valinor is the place where the dead can go to. Anyways, Sam, but I thought you were going to enjoy the Shire, too, for years and years after all you've done. What does he mean, after all you've done? Okay, keep going. Why did Frodo tell Gandalf, I wish that the ring were destroyed? I wish to destroy the ring, or rather to have it be destroyed. He says, I want to save the Shire. Okay? That's what Sam's getting at. You saved the Shire. So I thought too once. But I've been too deeply hurt. How? Stab wound in the shoulder, which he still feels every October 6th. Bite wound on the neck, which he still feels every March. I don't remember the exact date. Okay. He's not walking. He doesn't, get a Voldemortian silver finger. Gandalf doesn't go, here, let me fix that. He says, but not for me. It has been saved, but not for me. It must often be so, Sam, when things are in great danger. Someone has to give them up, lose them, so that others may save them. Might be a little response there to one of the exam questions. Okay? You are my heir. Everything I might have had, it's yours. And you have Rose and Eleanor, and notice all the other names that he says, these are future kids. Frodo Lass and Rosie Lass and Merry and Goldilocks and Pippin. He ends up with, I don't remember, it's like 11 or 12 kids. He ends up being mayor again. Okay? So, they ride on. Third Age is over. Who shows up at the Grey Havens? And why? 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 So Sam doesn't have to ride home alone. I mean, think of this, for Sam, seeing Frodo off at the Grey Havens. And he doesn't just get there and say, okay, well, have a nice journey, and Sam turns around and starts riding home while Frodo's still on the land. No, he sees Frodo get on the boat, and the boat leaves. Yeah, he's not coming back. It's a one-way ticket.
Even after that,
Okay.
Sam knows
Yeah.
he's never, ever.
Exactly. Okay? So what is that like for Sam? It's like a funeral. Okay? Gandalf doesn't want Sam riding all the way back home doing what? Just mourning. So he's got Merry and Pippin to kind of lift his spirits. They make their way. Notice they don't ride all the way to, make sure Sam gets in the door safely and everything, because he's a big boy. And notice how the story ends. Because the way the story ends takes us back to Sam and Frodo, the stairs of Cirith Ungol, talking about a good story. Whether it's good for those inside the story or good for those outside the story. Because we're told, 1031, At last they rode over the downs and took the east road, and then Merry and Pippin rode on to Buckland, and already they were singing again as they went. But Sam turned to buy water, and so came back up the hill as the day was ending once more. And he went on. Notice he doesn't stop at the Green Dragon and get a pint. And he went on, and there was yellow light and fire within. And the evening meal was ready, and he was expected. How? How does Rose know? Sam's coming back that night. And Rose drew him in. What does that mean? She's standing at the door, waiting for him. And she pulls him into the house and set him in his chair and put little Eleanor upon his lap. So what's the image we have? Harry, Lily, James, Lily, and, Harry? No, not really. It is domestic happiness. It's domestic bliss. What does Sam want out of life? More than anything. This image. Are we ever told that about Frodo? Not at all. This is Sam's happy ending. Frodo's happy ending is to go to Valinor. Because Frodo's not like Sam, is he? Just as Faramir is not like Boromir. Okay? If Faramir were involved in this end stuff, what would Faramir do? Would he go back to the house? Or would he go off to the Grey Havens? Think of the kind of person he is. What does Denethor call him? A pupil's wizard. A wizard's pupil. Faramir is elf-like. Just as Frodo is elf-like. As Bilbo is. Okay? This world isn't for their life. This place is for this kind of happiness. The other kind of happiness, that's got to be sought somewhere else. Okay? All right, so you've got the exam. It's in your D2L email box. Follow the directions. It is due 10 a.m. Monday, hard copy. Not 10:05. I'm serious. Not 10:05. If it comes after 10:05, it's an F. Or if it comes after 10 o'clock, it's an F. Okay? I've done this many times. By the way, nobody is probably going to get anything